Welcome back to another episode of Who's Your Daddy podcast, the podcast where we talk about all of the gay things, relationships, babies, families, and everything in between.
Everything.
Gay issues, LGBTQ issues.
Well, this season we talk about everything.
We talk about everything this season. Yes, last season we talked a lot about surrogacy, adoption, foster to adopt, and we are in a waiting period right now.
Boring.
There's a lot more topics to cover, so today we are doing a Q&A.
And we don't know any of these questions.
Honestly, a little bit scared. We have our friend Jared here. Jared's one of our good friends that lives in Portland, and I thought, who better to help MC a Q&A than Jared? We put the Q&A feature up on Instagram, and y'all really asked us anything.
Anything, everything.
I didn't look at any of the questions. I just gave Jared my phone and was like, please pick out the best questions here.
And I didn't even take a look at anything, so I don't even know.
This is our first anonymous Q&A where we literally have no idea what you're going to ask us, and I'm nervous.
Yeah, because last time
excited.
I'm very excited. I know what these questions are. We're gonna have fun.
you make me so nervous. I don't know why.
Should we begin?
I was gonna say, do you have any questions?
Oh, I have a lot of questions.
Without further ado,
Are we free to begin now?
yeah, we're going to start the Q&A.
Kick it to me.
2, 1, begin.
Okay, so I thought we'd start like simple and easy, and then like ease our way in.
Okay.
So, what are you laughing at already?
I'm like, you know, when you're like nervous, when you feel like you're about to get hit, that's what I feel like right now.
Okay, great. Well, we're not gonna hit you at all.
Okay.
Do you think your feet are handsome and beautiful? Do you like to be barefoot? Do you have any fetishes? I'm a foot lover myself. Do you guys ever measure your?
Whoa, this is a lot of questions.
I was just gonna read off all the sex ones because I thought they were funny.
Oh my gosh, she was rapid fire.
I know. I was overwhelmed.
All right, finish them. Finish the ones you didn't think we were going to answer. Then we'll surprise
Go
you.
ahead and list them all.
Okay, so I'm gonna read the sex ones again.
Yeah, read the sex ones again.
Do you think your feet are handsome and beautiful? Do you like to be barefoot? Do you have any fetishes? I'm a foot lover myself. All from the same person. Do you guys ever measure your dicks? Who has the bigger? Who is dominating? What kinks are you into? Are you into? How often do you? What are your favorite positions?
Okay,
Any
now
fun
I'm
kinks?
understanding.
Wow.
It keeps going. It keeps going. Threesomes. Have you done them? Have you experimented with sex? With like having threesomes? Trio? Have you ever had a threesome? A throuple? Who is the top and who is the bottom? Was asked 6 times. Or are you gonna make an OnlyFans? That was asked 6 more times. Kiss? You guys should kiss.
We should kiss.
Okay,
Yeah.
way across.
Yeah,
way
like
across.
right on this
Okay,
camera.
in the middle camera.
Yeah, like
ready?
right in front of me. Ooh. Great. What's your go-to lube? Okay, and then the last sex question was, do you use sex toys? Which
Only closet shop.
that's what I thought as well. I knew that was an ad. My first section is meaningful life questions, which I'm not going to start at because that's,
Oh my God, you have these by section.
yeah.
Jesus.
Oh my God, you're so organized.
I had so much fun.
You're
with this.
hired.
Thanks.
Wow.
Okay, here's a loading
There's
question.
so many questions.
Did the airplane door land at your house?
Literally, actually,
that's a good question.
without giving away where exactly we live, it was within 5 miles. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and for people who might not know about that,
It was very close.
there was an Alaska Airlines flight that took off.
Matthew, who does not know about that?
There's people who probably don't know. We have
It's
international
on the
viewers.
news. It was international news.
Whatever.
If you don't know about it, get out from under your rock.
Wow.
Sass.
Who listens to our podcast who doesn't watch
The news?
the news?
It's just a refresher. So maybe somebody listens to this 3 years from now and they had no idea, couldn't remember. Anyway, the plane took off from PDX. The whole side panel of the plane flew off and it landed in a neighborhood. Our neighborhood.
the door plug.
The door plug. Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Along with the cell phone and a
Along
few
with
other
the cell
things.
phones.
But nobody got hurt. Oh, somebody went to the hospital.
This is another good question. Michael, you have a tattoo of a marching bass. LOL. You have
a marching
tattoo of
fish.
a marching
Yeah, fish march now.
bass. You have a tattoo of a marching bass drum. If so, which bass did you carry?
5, the biggest one.
I didn't even know they were by number.
Yeah, I was base 5, Phantom Regiment, 2011. It's been a tradition to get the tattoo since 2003. And I was probably like not the right size, and I got pressure sprains in both my ankles. So my ankles like swelled up, and then I had to like sit out for a little bit, and then I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it, and then I came back and we prevailed. But base 5, very heavy. It was a very intense summer. Thank you for asking that question. Nobody knows about DCI.
I didn't even know that was the tattoo on you until you like said it. I just kind of overlooked it. Or I thought it
Yeah.
was like
I know.
something else.
Yeah, because you're like,
I
ugh,
thought it was like a runner.
ugh,
thought
why
it was
would I
someone
ask
running.
him? Ugh,
I don't give a fuck about
so
Michael.
insignificant. I don't give a shit about him.
Okay, let's do
A
other
shitty
questions.
tattoo.
Here's a very simple but big one. How do I get over heartbreak?
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Well, I will preface this by we are not professionals.
We're not professionals, and none of this constitutes as medical or
Or legal
professional
advice.
or legal advice. I don't know I don't know what that sentence is like, but I
But
know there's like a big long
If
sentence.
I were you, well, okay, so there's a few different ways to address heartbreak. One of them is to just go off the deep end, go off the rails, and go crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that's a great idea.
It's like a method of distraction.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
Maybe
You-
like go on an Atlantis cruise and just have like the craziest time and do things that we can't mention on this podcast.
or, no, I don't know. Like, you
I
hear
was not freshly heartbroken.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
But
I'm
I
just
know
saying,
people
oh,
on that
like,
cruise that were.
Yep,
Mm.
yep.
you hear a lot about people like rebounding, you know, when they go through a breakup, like a hard breakup and they rebound.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know. A lot of times that doesn't end up very great.
I think it's impossible to not rebound.
Yeah.
And like accepting that you will rebound.
It depends on what you mean by rebound. Like, because I think there are different types of people too, where you get out of a relationship and you're like heartbroken, and then you feel like you have to immediately get in another one.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I feel like sometimes it's more helpful to like take a beat and just like
just
be more introspective and then like figure out like what went wrong.
focus on yourself.
How are we not like compatible? What were the red flags? You know, what should I have known when I didn't know it? I don't know. I feel like
Honestly,
reflecting and processing it is probably like the best way. I
it's
would
better said than done.
recommend.
Or easier
No,
said
exactly.
than done.
That's what I'm saying. But they're asking for
I
like
think
what?
the best
How would
way,
you?
The best way to get over heartbreak is therapy. Go
Yeah.
to therapy.
That's what I'm saying. You
Talk
like
to a therapist.
process and
Process it.
yeah.
Not saying that's what most people do. I think the rebound thing sounds like a lot of fun, but it's, I mean, like, that's naturally, I've done that.
The mute button is your best friend in getting over heartbreak. You don't have to unfollow that but you just mute them and you mute all their friends. Like the way you get over them is
Just
you
not
have to
see
like
them.
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And like, because they are not going to get out of your physical mind, but stop torturing yourself
Yeah.
by having them on your social media feed, by trying to be their friend, by da 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 da.
Yeah.
There we are. Don't do any of those things. Like you need to like you need to separate yourself from the person.
That makes sense. Because otherwise you're just, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, you
Right.
know?
And it's not going to be easy and you're going to think about them constantly and there's no avoiding that you just have to go through it
Yeah.
and just accept that is part of the human experience.
If you,
You
don't
think-
mute them and you're still involved, then it's like ripping off the Band-Aid slowly. And then maybe putting it back on a little bit and then doing it again. Like, ow, that would hurt.
Yeah.
It's better to just rip it off.
Totally depends too, because like, what if like, is it you have to erase, or on the rare occasion, some people like try and still be friends afterwards.
Mm.
But I don't know
Mhm.
how well that works.
And I think that
Heartbreak's
sometimes it
hard.
works perfectly well for people.
Yeah,
I think that's what's so messy
But-
about it. There's no one way to be heartbroken.
right. Therapy.
Next question.
Okay. Okay, this is 4 people asked this question, so I think this is definitely at least worth fleshing out a bit. Again, with romance. How do I know if he is the one?
Mm.
What does that mean, Matthew?
Oh my god, why are you so giggly?
Because so many wrong answers come to mind.
Ooh, I think
Oh my
you
God.
should list those.
Does he have money?
It's an important question.
Then he's the one.
What's he packing?
Ooh.
It's an important question.
Oh my god, I feel so horrible. No, that's not right.
No.
Guys.
Is he the one? We actually just had some friends last weekend, and one of them, I think we asked them the same question actually on their episode, Sydney and Giacomo. I was like, how did you guys know? Because like Giacomo's just out of a relationship. Anyways,
Yeah.
and he was like, I went into the relationship being like, I'm not going to change for this person. I'm not going to become like a different version of myself. I'm just going to like put out all the weird things and like my little quirks. And then if it's accepted, then like I know that this is a good thing. So I think it's like the person that you can be your most
100%
authentic self
yourself.
around.
Yeah.
And like you don't feel judged. You don't feel like you have to like monitor yourself or anything like that. And then obviously there's all the other things, right? Like, do you find them physically attractive? I think that plays into it. Are they motivated? Like, I'm attracted to somebody who's like motivated in life. And I feel like I've seen relationships where it's like, oh, they meet and maybe they're like, oh, we have these sparks fly, but then like one of them is total dud. And it's like, I don't know. That's really unattractive.
I'm like thinking about the feeling of it. Like, what's the feeling like when you know somebody's the one? And I would
Sparks
say
and fireworks.
no,
and rainbows.
no. That's infatuation. That's infatuation.
Okay.
When you know somebody's the one is when you like are away from them. You're not spending time with them. You're with other people. Maybe
all you
you've
do
known
is
them
think
for
about
6
them.
months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Your life's great. Everything's going fine. But you're like, I feel great where I'm at. And I like my situation. But it would be even better with this person here. Maybe. Kind of thing. You know?
Oh.
Like, oh, everything's great. It's not that they're filling a void or a hole. It's just that they're enhancing and like making it better. And that you're so
Just thinking.
well, maybe they are filling a hole, but
Hopefully.
Jared's like, if they're not filling a hole, I am out.
a proverbial
Yeah, you need to have a good sex life.
a proverbial hole.
Yes.
So many people are afraid of like quote unquote settling. I think there's a differentiation between like you have to make the conscious decision of like this person I love and I'm gonna make it work. And like I'm gonna work hard. And that's the thing is a lot of people think like, oh, a relationship, you fall in love and then
Everything should fall into place.
and then everything falls into place and
The
it's
puzzle comes
infatuation.
together.
Like
Things
like,
get harder once you're in the relationship. Am I right?
yeah, I think that's true.
yeah, definitely.
Things get harder.
For sure.
And then they can get easier, but I think
but there's like it not everything it's not linear. It's like
what did
everywhere.
You say? How did you say that?
Linear.
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 again.
Linear.
Linear.
It's linear. Linear.
Linear.
What? Oh, come on.
You said linear?
Linear.
It's linear.
I was good at math.
Near.
I was
Not
good
the
at
ear.
math.
You
Linear.
know?
Linear. I think you did it.
Linear.
Yeah, like
No, you just said linear.
Linear.
What? Why? Like, why? I say it just like you guys do.
So linear, not linear.
Linear.
You know how like when people on TikTok
What in
will
the
pronounce
world?
something incorrectly and it'll make it go viral because everyone's focusing on that? Is that what we're doing?
Maybe.
No, I guess I talk weird.
But have you
SY
noticed that? Like, someone will
SYRUP.
pronounce something incorrectly. and they're like,
SYRUP?
Yeah.
Syrup?
Oh, you said it right that time.
Syrup. Syrup? Syrup.
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 He goes
Syrup.
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 Okay.
You say it sir up. I say it syrup.
Next question.
How do you say bag? Like a grocery bag.
It's a grocery bag.
It's a bag.
It's a grocery bag.
Unless you live in like Minnesota, it's a bag.
It's not a bag.
You grew up in Oregon.
You grew up in
It's a
Oregon. You don't
bag.
have the Midwest A.
We should get Kim in here.
What in the world?
How do you feel? This is a very important question. How do you deal with self-loathing and not feeling good about yourself?
Oh my god.
Or thoughts about, quote, no one likes me?
I don't know what that feels like.
Shut the fuck up.
You were like fired
just
from the
kidding.
podcast.
I knew
This is like no longer.
I knew that would piss both of you off, and I was so right.
Because you know where my mind went? I went immediately to, you know what? I take a depression nap. Maybe cry a little bit.
I hope we both had like glares that were captured as we glared at you.
So
That was incredible.
rude.
Oh, that was the exact reaction I was looking for. Thank you for
So how do you deal with feelings of self-loathing?
Correct.
That's something that I've dealt with like all my life, very long time. And I think a lot of times it is influenced by my physical activity level, my sleep, and my eating.
That
like
is such a good point.
physical
So
things.
true.
Yeah.
And it's true.
So true.
Like I am more vulnerable to getting down on myself and feeling horrible if I'm not like taking care of my body physically, which sounds obvious, but in the moment of self-loathing, no, not obvious. That's not even a something I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm like, who cares about eating? I hate myself.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like babysitting kids taught me that because it's like they go in a little tantrum and then you're like, oh, did the child eat today?
Yeah.
Did they run outside?
Yeah, and then you
Did they
give them
sleep
like
well?
you give them
Did
an
they need a nap?
applesauce, and they're like a completely different human, and you're like, oh,
Yeah, so this happened when like the power went out and I don't know, I had a stomach bug and my body just unloaded for like 3 days straight.
Thank you
Diarrhea.
for sharing.
It happens. Well, come on. Like it happens.
I also had diarrhea all week from Atlantis. So thank you.
Different reasons. So
I had lots of contacts. Lots of just contact.
Michael had these baby food packs in the fridge, like applesauce, pureed carrot, banana. I was skeptical.
I don't buy baby food, just to be clear.
I know. It's
They're
from,
left over from
Kinks. Back to the kink question.
well,
That's funny.
that's unexpected. Are you really into that?
Yeah, I love baby food.
No, it was because you're like
Feed me like
nieces
a
and
baby.
nephews were here.
No,
No,
I know.
Will you call me daddy?
Feed me, daddy.
No, say it again.
No, I'm weirded out. I'm uncomfortable. Please talk about your self-loathing more.
And diarrhea.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's better.
that applesauce like saved me. I was feeling
When I offered
so
it to you, you said no. So it's interesting now that you're
I went back to it.
admitting that I was right.
You were right. It helped me so much. It was like sugar to my brain. I feel so much better now. I have energy, like fixed everything.
Well, it's the brat diet. Bread, rice, applesauce, toast.
That's true.
But I don't know. Ask a nurse.
Bread, rice, applesauce toast.
Applesauce toast.
Isn't bread and toast the same thing? It's
Oh, wait.
bananas.
Bananas, sorry.
Because I was just on the brat diet too. I
I
You
forgot
were.
about bananas. I was like, bread, rice, applesauce, all that sounds right. What's the T? Toast. Sure. I forgot that I said bread.
In all seriousness, I think like talking about it with other people is super important. At least for me, I'm an external processor. So I mean, there's times when Michael's totally fine. He's off working. He's doing whatever. And I just like text him and I'm like, I do not feel good. And he's like, oh, are you sick? I'm like, mentally, yeah. Like today is a bad mental health day. And so like that awareness I think is important, but also it's not something that you can just do with a partner. It's something you can do with a friend that you trust, that's in tune with you, and you can have that kind of communication where it's just being there for each other.
Not being alone in it, normalizing it,
Yeah.
sharing it with someone else.
Yeah.
Not just keeping it to yourself and feeling like it's this thing you have to do by yourself.
Because like things that are real, brain chemistry is real, physical needs are real. And when those things are in flux, your mentality, you're not magic. Like you're not going to not be phased by things coming and happening in your life. That just affects you in one way or another.
Okay, Michael, so how do you deal with your perfection again?
Well, I just wake up and I'm perfect. And then I just make sure that like throughout the day that I continue just being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And then you like scream into your pillow at the end of the night.
yeah. Let everything out.
Michael goes to the guest bedroom so Matthew doesn't hear him. He just screams into the pillow. What would you say, but something like on the real, when you're feeling like shit or you're depressed or you're anxious or whatever? What's
Feeling
something
down
you
on
do to
yourself.
feel
Yeah, anxious,
better?
It's
overwhelmed.
usually, yeah, I think it's primarily have I taken care of like my physical person. I mean, self-loathing, I don't feel like that's necessarily like, oh, a big life event happened, right? And then that's making you feel bad. It's just sort of like, it's not anything in particular, right? You're kind of feeling down one day and you're feeling bad about yourself. I mean, I immediately go to some like physical activity. I feel like I say that all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I haven't gone to the gym in like 5 or 6 days. I'm getting irritable. I've been at work. Like I need to move my body because I know that is what's holding me
I think
back.
you're so good at motivation and being able to like recognize what's happening with your body and that you need that. Whereas I feel that there are a lot of people like me that when I get down, I have a harder time being like getting into physical activity or convincing myself that I need this because all I can focus are the feelings, and the feelings feel so strong that it feels like a heavy weight, and I can't like I just lay in bed, like I can't like get up.
I think too, it depends on what you're feeling like self-loathing about. I think it could be body image. I think it could be like where you're at in life. It could be this thing you don't have and you want. I think I try and just think, I mean, whenever I'm like, oh, I'm so upset about this thing, or like, oh, I really want this thing and I don't have it, but somebody else has it and I want it kind of thing. And then you sort of feel less than, you're like, why do they have it? Or like, how did they get so successful? And I'm like, not at that same level. And like, I should be at that level. And I don't know, like, why am I not succeeding the way that I would like to succeed? It's just sort of like, take a beat and be like, you're doing fine where you're at. There's so many people who have more than you. There's so many people who have less than you. And everybody can be happy with what they have if they just have like the right mindset. I don't know.
Very balanced way of looking at things.
I know. And I think that I've just seen, maybe it's part of like traveling too. I don't know if this is like a great, I don't know. I don't know why this is
Just having
this
perspective
happens.
that other people live other lives and there's a whole
And they're
bunch of different
happy.
ways to live and
Yeah.
they're happy.
I think I go around the world and
Gratitude.
I'll like, I mean, we took soccer balls once to this like little school in the mountains in Costa Rica, and like all these kids were just like stoked to get like a new soccer ball, and I'm just like,
I
oh,
also think this is a cop out for people dealing with mental health and emotional
no,
issues.
no, totally. I think those like little things like that where I'm like, what's bringing them joy, and they're finding joy in little things.
I hear you
I know.
on the point of like gratitude, having gratitude for
And
your situation in your life.
I'm not talking about mental health, I guess. I'm not talking about chemical imbalances. I'm just talking about like,
But gratitude's a good antidote for when
Yeah.
you feel less than upset about something, self-loathing, having gratitude for even small things.
I think trying to put things into perspective,
yeah, that too.
because usually it's a thinking error.
Right. And I was going to say, I am a huge fan of thinking
Right.
of the thinking error type method.
Yeah.
I'm not going to list them off because I'm not a psychologist and I don't know everything about them, but you can look them up on Google. There's like great cheat sheets for thinking errors.
Yeah.
It lists all of these types of like different ways of thinking, and it actually like pinpoints your thoughts and then has a way of reframing it into a way that's more that's nicer to yourself and actually more true and accurate.
Also, as you go
Never
through
heard of
life,
that.
You've never heard of thinking
I've never
errors?
heard of that.
Oh, we
Oh.
got to go through that.
Well, next episode.
also as you go through life, you are going to hit highs, you're going to hit lows, and I think the more that you go through it, you can sort of identify like, hey, I felt this way before, I got through it, and I felt way better at some point, right? Like, and you just can sort of identify like, okay, I've gone through stuff before, I can do this, like I'm capable, and I'm going to feel my feelings, and I'm going to be sad, which is fine to like be in that.
Yeah.
But then just with like in the back of your mind, like it will get there. We will get better. This
it
will
gets
change.
better.
But like whatever you're going through is going to last a lot longer than you want it to.
Yeah.
But it will end.
Yeah, and like nobody walks through life with like, oh my God, everything is perfect every single day. I'm so happy, and like
Mhm.
my brain never feels sad. It's just how they get through it, is at some point either
Yeah.
things change, your circumstances change, your brain chemistry gets back on track, your physical activity helps you get out of it, whatever. I think the longer you live, the more like
Yep.
more of those experiences you go through.
Thank you.
And I think before we move on, I think it's important to acknowledge that we all like have differences in mental health.
Yeah.
And like things, I think that like this is like for Matthew and I, this is something that is more present in our lives and something we have to put more energy into to maintaining our baseline.
Totally. Yeah.
And I think for you, you don't. Not as much.
Thanks.
Not to say that you don't suffer. Like you're obviously, I know the ways that your life, I know the way that you suffer.
Yeah.
But I do think that like it's important to acknowledge that like when you see your friend that seems to be doing great and everything just doesn't rock their boat as much, it probably doesn't. And that doesn't mean that there's something wrong
Right.
with you.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong.
We just operate on
It
different
just means
wavelengths.
that our brain, we're all different and our brain chemistries are all wrong and like, or all not wrong, or all different. Our brain chemistries are all different. And like, it's, the human experience is, we have to deal with different things.
Well,
and to
and there's-
not create that into some big thing that you're bad or wrong or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
'Cause you're
and,
not.
and unfortunately,
okay.
a lot of like past experiences will play into how you're feeling later in life.
100%.
So,
Like trauma will then lead to. you're
right.
saying?
Yeah.
I just ended my relationship of 6 years
Oh, no.
and I'm having trouble believing in dating again.
Fair.
That's
Do you have any
understandable.
advice?
Oh.
Honestly,
I don't feel.
I would feel the same.
I don't. Yeah. I always feel a little bit weird answering dating questions because I haven't dated for 10 years.
Oh, no. I love this because I'm giving advice on things I'm not an expert on.
Matthew is
listen
an
to me.
expert on all things.
Yes.
I think.
Okay,
I feel like the
well-
most successful relationships I've seen are ones that have like we met in real life and like we sort of like built a friendship or maybe we started hot and heavy on like we met each other and just had like a
You're speaking about other
nice little
people
date.
that you've
Yeah,
met.
I'm just trying to
Because
like
you both have only ever dated each other.
seriously as
I've dated
yes.
other people in the past, but like, yeah, I mean, he was the most serious relationship at that point. Anyway, for this person who just broke up after 6 years of being together with that person, if you if you don't believe in dating right now, maybe you're not ready to date.
Yeah, I don't think
Because
that's a bad idea.
it's totally okay to take a break from those types of relationships, focus on yourself, see what you like, and maybe have casual flings once in a
Well,
while.
also,
Like that's okay.
believing in dating, like, are we talking about like, oh, I don't believe in finding a partner right now, or like
Possibly. It could be-
I don't believe in going out to dinner with someone and having a good time and then going home.
It could honestly be any of those, but like do what's going to make you happy. And if dating's not making you happy right now, then don't do
Because
it.
people date for different reasons. I'm assuming not everybody's dating to get married, right? Like,
As someone who's constantly dating,
I'm like looking at the single person over here. I'm like, don't people date to like? I feel like people
Yeah.
date
I don't.
just to.
I've like been chronically single and would love to change that, and
Okay.
have wanted to change it for a long ass time.
But you've met like
But
people
I go
who are
very,
friends,
on very few dates, or like the
people who are now friends, right? Through
correct.
dates?
There is a very strong channel in my life from romantic interest to friends that has been well worn in my life.
I think also someone who's been in a relationship for 6 years and just got out of it.
Right.
Like
It's the whole rebound thing.
well,
It's like, what do you do? Like, do you?
no, this is what I'd say that you need to have some fun dates, some fun things to happen. Like if once you feel ready to like actually get back into the scene, just go out and try to have a date and not really think too seriously about it or that it's really going to go beyond that evening, but just be there in the moment and be excited to go out on a date, be wined and dined. I don't know, like something fun.
I would assume that behind this question, or like underneath this question, is this person who is heartbroken
Right.
and who wants all the wonderful things of their previous relationship back again today, yesterday, like an hour ago, and wants to go find that out dating, but just also is just hit with a semi truck of also the pain of the heartbreak that they're currently experiencing.
Well, and
like,
don't they
so they
say-
want to go get the thing,
Yeah.
but then like, and they're, I think what is behind this person's question? Behind this person's question is just hopelessness, which
Yeah.
I can relate to,
Yeah.
and I get that,
I think.
and I don't think there's an easy answer to that.
No, I don't think so either. I think it depends on the situation. Some people, like I said, some people are like relationship people. They feel like they have to be in a relationship. Some people enjoy sort of like the casual date here and there, see what happens. You're describing it as somebody who maybe wants that like relationship and they like really like that.
Well, they've been in a
And
long-term
even as someone
relationship for
who's
6
not
years.
ever been in a relationship and isn't used to that mode, I would still like that. Like there's
Yeah.
still a hopelessness and desperation there.
Yeah.
But I know people who like don't want a relationship. They're like, I
Mhm.
don't want to be in a
I
relationship
don't know
right now.
who these girls are. I don't know them. I have probably met them, but
Right? They're like, I'm not
I'm not
looking
friends
for
with them.
I mean, how many people are like, I'm not looking for anything serious?
I've definitely been exposed to that attitude.
Right?
I don't know if the people deep down. I mean, I think there are some people who are like, I'd rather not deal. I don't want kids, and I don't want to deal with another person sharing a house with. Like, I just want to
yeah, it's
have people time when I want people
and it's
time,
a wonderful thing,
and not worry about
Such
other
a wonderful
things. Yeah.
thing.
So I get that.
I mean, it takes, don't they say it takes as many years to get over a relationship as
I
the
think things like
relationship
that are
was
so
long?
arbitrary and silly.
I think
Because
that's
that shames
probably
people who
arbitrary,
then meet someone
yeah.
a month later.
Yeah.
Sometimes you meet someone right away and
Right.
then you feel ashamed of it and it's too soon and blah blah blah, which I think is dumb.
But I do think it would probably take a decent amount of time to process a 6-year relationship.
usually yes.
Okay, this is how you get over a 6-year
Grab a
relationship.
bottle of wine.
Grab a freaking bottle of wine, go to your couch, turn on Sex in the City, watch 2 seasons, and then download Tinder.
I think
That is the cure.
Okay, you heard it here first.
I used to play this game in college.
Ooh.
We would go to the Matador. The Matador had this thing, $5 nachos during happy hour. They don't do that anymore, but the Matador,
This is a restaurant in Portland.
and
Mexican
in Seattle.
restaurant.
So we went to the one in Seattle. Yeah.
Ooh.
My friends and I would all get our margaritas and $5 nachos, and then we would get on Tinder.
This is so fun. I
And we
love
would
this.
just swipe. And, we do it for real. It's like, if we think they're cute, we're going to swipe right. If we are not feeling it, we're going
You
to
would
swipe
be
left.
on your own phone, but doing it with other people around you.
Yeah, but we'd all go like one at a time. So
Oh, so everyone's paying attention.
Yes,
This is
yes,
so
yes,
fun.
yes. And we'd like make a group decision. We'd be like, are we going to swipe right or left? And any time that there was a match, then we take a big drink. And if they messaged you, then you finished your drink.
I think the things that are in this answer are you lean into friends and you do this with your friends and you approach dating in a fun, playful way. And I
go to
think those
therapy?
are great. I do a lot of therapy. And I think those are great. I think that's such a wonderful way.
There you go.
Such a wonderful answer
So,
to the question.
You know what? Margaritas, Sex in the City, wine, friends, nachos, Tinder, swipe right, and take a shot. Yeah, but don't lean into alcohol too much. That's not good.
We are not professionals.
Do as I say, not as I do.
How this is another question. How can you make your partner love you better?
Do the dishes.
Wow.
Fold the laundry.
Come at me.
Make me food.
I already do all that.
This is actually going to be an answer that turns into a fight.
Okay, this is really funny because this question I viewed and not an actual question. I viewed in a way as be a decent human being. Don't be a dick. Treat your person with respect and kindness and like empathy and all this stuff. But like there's nothing you can do to make someone love you better. And if person's not treating that is how I like if you're in love with someone and they're not treating you correctly or not reciprocating,
Except there are a couple things.
But
fold the laundry the correct way.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
an obvious way to fold socks, and that's not putting them inside of each other. We don't want that. We want nice, accessible socks with the tips
does Michael
poking
put them
out.
entirely inside of one another? And
Yes.
Matthew does not.
And I just have the tips poking out just a little bit so that you know what kind of sock it is. I can see the Nike label
You
on
need
it.
to like make a written contract of like this is how we fold socks in this house just to avoid this fight. You know,
Maybe-
like towels are folded in certain ways, sheets are folded in certain ways.
Maybe when we're like running late to a party or people are coming over, we don't like decide that this is a good time to, I don't know, rearrange and clean the fridge.
Okay.
I'd like to hear more of Matthew's list, please. More Matthew's list.
Oh my God.
I mean, okay, so I think,
let me
right, like,
get ready.
are they going to love you? It says love you better.
I
Love you
think this
better.
is a person. I read this question as someone from like they're in love with someone, but the person isn't as in love with them as they are with them.
Maybe.
And like the answer is you
Or-
shouldn't be trying to change that.
I think it also could be like, how do you like keep love alive? Like, how do you
But that
like
wasn't the question.
continually
You know
show
what?
people love?
I think this is a very simple question. How do you get someone to love you better? You don't. If they don't love you the right way, then move on. Go to
Correct,
someone who's going to
Matthew
love you more.
Schuler.
Next question.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to chime in. There's a Portland author whose line, when I always think
Yeah.
about this, when I'm so obsessed with the boy and he's not obsessed with me, I always say, like Cheryl Strayed, and she always says, like, there's so many things to be miserable about in this life. Don't let someone who doesn't love you be one of them.
Oh my God, I love that.
Isn't that great?
Mm,
So Matthew answered the question correctly, and Michael did not.
Next
I
question.
just want food and a clean house.
Then you should have married someone else.
No.
Then hire like
No.
a cleaner. Don't expect your like. Don't
We do.
How do I find the right time to tell my family that I'm gay?
Ooh, that's a
Ooh.
great question.
Well, Michael thinks Thanksgiving's a great time.
yeah.
I told my parents at Thanksgiving.
Yes, of
I
course.
think that's a common
Everyone's-
time,
Everyone's
yeah.
together. It's gonna be.
I also cut my parents off on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Jesus.
Woo!
Okay, so how do you tell your family? Pick a safe situation.
Yeah.
One on one.
It more like generally, once you're at a comfortable place with yourself and you've confided in a few close people to you that you know are going to accept, trust, and love you and support you. So if those are close friends, if those are siblings, if those are cousins, like whoever it is, come out to them first, and then you like basically work your way to the people that you're most nervous about
I think
coming
they're
out
trying.
to.
They're also asking like literally how. Like how do I sit down and like
And do
how do
it.
I do this? Do I call them? Do I text them? Do I whatever? I would say like in person.
Well, I sat on the couch and cried.
Yeah, I think that's what most people do.
I did it over FaceTime, which I
Oh,
do
really?
think was the right
Whoa.
decision. Because
mean,
they
it
responded
depends-
horribly, and I was able to shut the computer
Mm.
and like hold a friend and like bawl crying and be like hundreds of miles away from them, which I felt bad of in the moment, but ended up being like the perfect decision.
So it's
I'm so
honestly
glad I
like
did
it's
it that way.
situational.
Yeah.
You know, like measuring or deciphering like, hey, are they go do I think they're going to respond okay? Do I think they're going to respond poorly? Like you chose to do your coming out through a distance, like a more distance method, which was good for you because then you're able to shut that out and be like, no, rather than being like exposed to that.
Yeah, I came out in person, but I was never too worried about the reaction, and I guess I was always able to like I could always leave. I guess personally, like, and I had people around me who I knew were supportive. I think that's what
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what initially I did was like, don't maybe isolate yourself with someone who you think might not react well. Have somebody there that's going to support
be
you
a
if
support
you're
person.
concerned about that at all.
Yeah,
And-
totally.
or if you're concerned about that, do it over FaceTime.
Distance.
Yeah.
That's okay too. Cool. Next question.
That's what I would say.
This is okay. So this is another question, similar. And one thing I enjoyed is I loved like kind of stalking the people who were asking the questions.
You stalked them?
you
I didn't
stalked
stalk
the
everyone,
people.
but I would like kind of like if there was an interesting question, I like kind of like looked into who is this?
Is this HIPAA?
This isn't health related. Matthew.
I know, but you're like,
I think people know that on polls, like who the user is. Like,
I
people
know.
are aware of that. Okay. Nonetheless, the important piece of this information is that this is a follower from Uganda. So you can think about the gay experience in Uganda.
okay.
There's a country where there's literally like I think a death penalty or something. To be gay.
Yeah.
And this follower asked, I just really wonder how you guys have accepted your nature because you really inspire me. I mean, like, how did you accept you being gay, accept yourself?
Wow.
And just think about the context that this person is in this moment living in.
I mean, context has a lot to do with it because growing up in a super unaccepting environment puts you at a predisposition to not accepting yourself. So if you're surrounded by people who, all they talk about is how you're sinful and in the wrong and horrible,
Right.
like that's what you're going to grow to believe.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to turn away from that because your brain's like literally not trained to do that. And it feels very wrong and opposite when you start down that path. But for me, being able to see how other people were living around the world and seeing that people were in environments and communities that loved and supported them, even though they were gay, that to me, that felt like hope.
I was going to say being at like surrounded by it as much as you can in whatever way you can. So like growing up, I had gay friends in high school. I had gay friends in college. I came out. I met a big gay community. I was surrounded by it. At some point, I was then like surrounded by it, but it took like a lot of little things here and there, I think, to get to that point, and like encouraging words from other people, and then just like representation.
It's
would
seeing
say.
it modeled. When you see it modeled by other people, that's empowering, and it helps you understand that you're not
Yeah.
a horrible person.
Well, and then like I would maybe think, let's assume that this person's not out.
Right.
If you came out and then people around you were very supportive, I think that's also like reinforcing of self, like accepting yourself. So I guess that could be, I mean, that's also part of like, at least my story, right? Like,
Yeah, but
coming
they're in
out,
an
people-
environment that like
exactly.
yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying is that would be really difficult because if people are telling you that you're wrong and you're sinful and like,
and there's like death penalty for
then that's going to be
being who
really
you
hard to
are.
accept yourself.
Physical safety.
Physical
Yeah.
safety is number
Is there
one.
something that, I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
exist here in the US, particularly depending on community, but in the
Right.
community this person lives in, we don't know if
Right.
they're in
Not physically safe.
Kampala
No,
or if they're in a rural village. Like
Right.
the
And I think that's a really hard thing that people face in countries where it's not accepted at all and it's actually punishable by death. Like
illegal.
trying to figure out whether you're going to or how can you leave your culture? How can you leave your community of people that you've
Things,
grown with?
yeah.
And then you have to make this decision of like, how do you proceed with that? That is just such a
Essentially, there's
messed
like
up
you're
situation
gonna-
to be
I
in.
feel like you have to lose something in that situation. Like you have to either like get out of your physical environment, which means you could be losing proximity to friends and family, or you take a risk and you lose support. I don't know. It's just physically where you're at, I think, plays a lot into this.
and like, do you even have access to leave? Like, is that even a
No, and
financial
then
option?
that too, exactly.
Yeah.
Or it's like you just suppress it. Like you live in that situation, you just put on a face, you suppress like how you actually
There
feel.
is a program called Rainbow Railroad, and that is an organization that helps relocate LGBTQ plus people internationally that are in unsafe circumstances and countries that are unaccepting.
It's just such a huge decision. Oh my
It
God.
is, yeah. But if you're unsafe and you need to get out of that situation, then like that is
Then do it.
stay safe. Make sure you're safe.
And I feel like I would just want to like grab this person by the shoulders and tell him like the people around you are wrong.
Yeah.
Like they are wrong. They're
yeah.
not correct. These might be people that love you and care about you in so many ways, but they are wrong.
Yeah.
And like you clearly have this online space where they follow you, and I'm sure lots of other queer and gay people, and like really just dive into that. Like have your secret Instagram where you follow all these people and you have this little safe space for you. And if leaving or all these other options are not a physical possibility now, like relish in this online community that you have found, because clearly they found you.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful thing. So,
That's good. Next question. Do we have any that we can do rapid fire?
yeah. Who is more ticklish?
Me.
Yeah,
I think
true.
I am my knees. When you squeeze the
random,
quad part.
weird thing to have
Oh, it
ticklish.
makes me
I would
scream.
never
I
think
hate
of that.
it.
Where was your first kiss?
Seattle, a pier. I think Pier 47.
Good question. Who is more clingy?
Oh, wow. Why is everyone looking at me? That's not fair. Maybe I'm like a little clingy, but not that clingy. Why are you so mean? Just making fun of the clingy
let's go
people.
back to that TikTok or whatever that you created where you're like grabbing onto him because of the bad dream.
This is literally
It was a good
bottom.
TikTok.
This is bottom shaming, and I don't like it.
We did not speak about
that
sexual
was
position.
that was quite the leap there. Wow.
Someone's shame spiraling right now.
Who likes playing the victim?
Oh, that's actually a question. It's not. It is now.
I feel gaslit and attacked.
I don't think you know how to use that word.
I
This
think
is
I know
rapid fire.
exactly
It was
how to.
supposed to be a quick answer.
Yeah.
Who is a travel planner and who is just along for the ride?
I think we both do
That's
stuff, but mostly Matthew plans. Mostly Matthew plans.
Matthew, what is your favorite thing to do when there's nothing to do?
sleep.
Okay, Michael, what's your favorite thing to do when there's nothing to
Clean.
do? That is truth. That is the truth. I would say that is accurate. First thing that comes to mind, what's your favorite, most recent date you've been on?
We don't date.
You guys go out and do things together with each other, do you not?
We make videos together.
It's true. You're together all the
We
time.
podcast.
Do you not go on dates?
I don't
Oh
know,
my
I
God.
don't know if we like call it a.
Oh my God. Okay, awkward.
You know, like maybe. Do you want to take me on a date sometime?
I feel like we do so many things together, like when we're traveling and we're with each other and we're traveling and we're like experiencing like all those things. And then when we're home,
But
we go out and we might get dinner together, but we are mostly interested in like seeing people and friends. And I never feel like I'm ever seeing enough people.
We don't do like the pump and circumstance of like doing a date, you know? Like we're getting dressed up, we're going out to dinner, I made these reservations. Like
Is it bad to say that like we're like, I feel like
Boring?
there's enough. No, I just feel like we travel enough that like I don't ever feel like the need to really go all out in the city.
you don't want to spend time with me?
I spend time with you 24/7. Look at us right here all day.
Girl, I haven't seen you like for 5 days.
If I
We've been
took you to a nice
working.
restaurant, you'd be on your phone.
Oh my
Burn.
It's not worth the investment.
Wow. I didn't know I was going to hit a little push little button. Push.
This is the last podcast episode Michael and I are filming together.
Who spends more time in the bathroom? That is an actual question.
Michael,
Yeah.
100%.
Do either of you have a secret talent?
I can whistle really well.
Please
Do
demonstrate.
it.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
No,
is there a
do it.
bird?
Do a tune. Do
Nobody
like
wants to listen to somebody whistle on a podcast. That's going to be so abrasive to the ears.
do a song. Do Katy Perry.
Wait, can you actually do that?
Like Katy Perry? Like
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
that
my
was
God.
good. I love that. One
We're
more
having
question.
One more question. This might be a good one, but I found another question. I'm going to ask it, and you're going to have to answer it. Do you have any dating advice for someone wanting to come out or is freshly out of the closet? Like a fresh gay.
Those are two very different things.
Wait, any dating advice for someone wanting to come out or fresh out? So like, but I think that the sentiment of the question is, do you have any dating advice for someone who's like freshly out and starting to date? Let's do that question.
Don't do what I did.
Ooh, what was that?
Well, listen to episode 2 of this season and you'll find out.
Oops, I didn't listen.
it was like a love pentagon.
Oh my, that's very gay though. Like, welcome to the gay experience.
At a Christian college.
Yeah.
Oof.
Even worse. But the Christian college element is that it's like all under, like it's all underground.
Yeah, it was
like
all
literally,
underground.
like-
For dating, freshly coming out or wanting to come out, I would approach
Like
it.
they haven't dated before.
I would approach it in like a fun, free-spirited way. Like, don't take it too seriously. It's gonna take. I mean, like, I think what's so fun about coming out, it for us, you know, coming out a little bit later in life, you're starting to really date later in life comparatively to people in high school.
Yeah.
Your first early relationships can be a little bit like cute, romantic, high school like. And I love that. And I think it's really fun to just go on a date and be like, okay, what's going to happen? I don't know. This is cute. You know, like random strangers, whatnot. But things have changed in the last 10 years. Like Tinder and Grindr are not what they used to be. Well, Grindr, okay, it's the same. I just
How much experience do you have with Grindr, Matthew Schuler?
Not much. I downloaded it.
Were
One
you
guy
ever on
messaged me.
Grindr?
I downloaded it. One guy messaged me, and I was
How
like,
long ago was
"Is this guy
this?
real?" I was scared.
How long? This was a while.
This
ago.
was like
last year. Michael's out of town.
Yeah, no. No. It was like
He's like, oh, it was so long ago. It was so long ago.
it was like last week. No, it was over 10 years ago, and I downloaded Grinder, and I was like laying in my bed, and I'm like, okay, I'll try Grinder. But like, this is me, like, good Christian boy. Like, I can't down like Grinder. What am I doing?
I think I only
Were
had
you a
it.
blank profile?
Obviously, I just downloaded it. I'm like, I don't have any pictures to put up on there. I don't know what to put up on there. So I just looked at the grid, and I'm like, there are a lot of bodies. And so I clicked on one that I thought was cute, and then he was like, hey, where do you want to meet? And I'm like, and I deleted the app.
I would say
Wait, were you ever on Grindr? This is a great question.
I think I had it for like a couple months, and I was like, when I was back in Nebraska before we met.
2 months?
A couple months.
Did you ever hook up with anyone off of Grindr?
No. I was too nervous.
Did you ever hook up with anyone off of Grindr?
No.
No, I was too nervous.
I've
more-
never either.
Yeah,
Never
I'm
hooked up with anyone off of
sure.
Grindr.
I'm too
Wow.
nervous to.
I was so
to-
nervous. Yeah.
to meet people like that fast on an app. Like, it just did not make me feel very safe. I would much rather meet someone in person. So I guess figure out who you are. If you're fine, like meeting people
Strangers.
online, and like you can like verify that they're not going to kill
Meet
you.
in a public place.
Be safe and
Yeah,
careful.
meet in a public place. Or like, I don't know. I was just like, if I'm gonna have something progress into something else, I feel like I'm gonna have to meet you in person.
Yeah.
So I guess that was just what I was comfortable with. But
I feel that.
dating, I don't know. I think people might be more like forward than you think, or maybe people want to take things faster than you want to. And I would just say stick to your guns, and you're not weird if you want to take things slow. Or if you want to take things fast, you're not weird either. But don't let somebody else like pressure you into stuff.
I think Matthew's point of like having fun with it, and
Yeah.
also like, because often when we come out, you know, we're like pretty late and we don't have that like teenage little moment. Like,
Yeah.
it's important to have, and you're probably going to have it even if you feel like you shouldn't at 25. Like, you're going to feel all those ways.
And just appreciate that. Like,
Correct.
it might be considered
It's such a good point.
immature by some,
But we're
but
supposed to start with love and like immature, like
we're
silly
kind
kitty
of all
ways.
immature when we first start dating anyway, because like it's our first time. You're not gonna be. There's no right way to do it necessarily. It's just like go out and feel things and try to have fun,
Mhm.
and then maybe you'll find somebody who you really, really like and want to spend time with.
Again, I haven't dated for 10 years, so I have no idea what it's like out there right now.
It's not great. It is not a good time.
That's what I've heard.
I vetted this boy for at least a month
Wow.
Before he moved across the country to live in the same town as you.
before I met him in person. And then he vetted me for like 5 seconds before he moved to my city.
One thing I want to add as a single person in this dating community,
Yes, please.
is a real thing. Is it like, I think it's like the illusion of choice, or like the illusion, I forget what the phrase, but like, because you're on these apps and you're seeing so many people,
Yeah.
we're all so like picky, or we all assume there's something like better that we can get like
Yeah.
on the next swipe or something.
Right.
So we're just so like so particular and so picky, when really
Yeah.
we're just being avoidant is what we're being. It's
Yeah.
like, emotionally avoidant.
Yeah.
And
We have a lot of avoidant attachment styles
so
because of these apps.
like try to, I would say like talk, like when you're dating people, talk through them with your friends, and maybe even like your partnered friends, like the things that you like and the things that you don't, and have them call your bullshit of like
Ooh, I like that.
things that like that doesn't really matter.
Let's
Because now I'm
open it up to friends and find out what the red flags are, or the
Yeah.
green flags, or the beige flags.
because there are a lot of things that you'll get stuck on which don't even fucking matter.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
oh, the inflection in his voice is too feminine. Like, bullshit. Like, that's probably your own like insecurities.
or the way that they chew food.
I
Yeah.
was literally just
Like,
going to say,
shit like that. Like, does
if,
not matter. in
if
a
you had
relationship.
watched me like chew food when we were Skyping, would you?
Oh, the amount of times I've considered breaking up with Michael because of the way he chews food.
Uh-huh.
But isn't this the thing about you?
I'm kidding. I don't break up with
Don't-
people
I know.
over
Isn't
chewing
that an
food.
issue with
Isn't that a
him?
ma-
That's
isn't
that is kind of
no,
a.
but isn't this a Matthew
Isn't
thing
that
where
a-
like you like can hear people? You
Yeah.
pay attention to people's chewing more than the
Yeah.
average person.
I'm normal.
I pay
He just
attention-
can
About
hear
this,
it.
right?
I'm just around
Michael
him.
is normal.
He just lives in my house,
I pay attention to people's chewing more than I pay attention to their needs.
obviously.
It's called misophonia. It's a real thing. Misophonia. You hear people chewing and you want to kill them.
It's a miracle I'm still alive.
I will moderate the separation podcast next.
Oh my God.
next
This
week.
Q&A, it's very fun to like not know the questions and then just
Yeah,
be, like,
it was really fun to
try and figure
I
out.
love that.
Also,
And-
like we have so many other questions. I suppose we could
right.
do another one at
and
some
we might
point.
need to do another one at some point.
Thanks for sending all those in.
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you to
Oh my
everybody
God.
listening right now for sending these questions in, for listening, for watching, for supporting us.
Yeah.
We appreciate you so much. You make this podcast happen.
Mhm.
So thank you. Please, if you haven't yet, or leave another review. Like, give us a 5-star
Leave
review.
a review every time if
But
you're
only
not.
good reviews.
Only good
Only
reviews.
good
Only
reviews.
5
If they're bad,
stars.
please keep it to yourself.
Yes, please.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to see us on
Subscribe,
thank
follow.
you.
Everywhere. Oh my gosh, thank you.
like, comment.
To find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the different places, just check out the link in the show notes. Click that. It'll take you everywhere. And yeah, that's it. We will see you next time.
Until next time.
1, 2, 3. Daddy's out. Good job.